I want to get this correct. You've all called us in here for a special session and are asking minimally for the state to give you all $36 million per year for the next 5 years for a taxpayer-funded stadium at the same time that the governor has vetoed funding for summer school, a bill to support children's mental health, a bill requiring paid family leave, all because the governor said we couldn't afford them. Can you explain to me why we need to provide hundreds of millions of dollars for a billionaire team to come to the Las Vegas Strip on some of the most valuable property in the world if we can't provide funding for critical resources like summer school and healthcare? And to follow up on that, I guess my specific question is can you explain to me why this is such a good deal that we should agree that no taxes generated on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Tropicana should go to these critical state and local services for the next 30 years?
Senator Steve Hill, we don't really have standing to talk about some of the questions that you asked that are outside of this. The reason that we are asking for this proposal are really those two that I talked about at the beginning. Opportunity for the state to help create thousands of good paying jobs. And we know that the state will have more money to provide for the services that you mentioned if you do the deal than if you don't.
May I follow up, Chair? I guess then going back to the area the idea that for the next 30 years, within this district, located in this prime real estate, we won't be able to generate taxes for those things. Do you think that the money that are created by the jobs are going to outweigh the potential that we are missing out on this area that will never leave that entertainment or that sports district?
Senator Nguyen, Steve Hill, yes, we do. We think that the tax generation because of this stadium will be 3 times what that investment is. And also, it's a 36-acre site. This is only 9 acres of that. It will make that site, the other 27 acres, more valuable, more likely to be redeveloped. And we think that will also, and that is not in these numbers, we think that will also add to the benefit that the entire state sees.
And I have one more question, if that's okay, Chair. Thank you. Sorry, if you feel my frustration, it is because I'm incredibly frustrated. When we first heard this bill in the joint money committees, we expressed concerns about the community benefits. And this might be a question for Ms. King, or this might be a question you would be able to answer. After that hearing, lobbyist after lobbyist after lobbyist came and told us and said they heard our concerns, they were working on our concerns, specifically a community benefits agreement advisory board. We are now 10 days removed from that hearing in a second special session that has forced taxpayers to spend another $250,000 a day to keep us here, and yet what is before us today is the same exact bill that we heard 10 days ago. To say I'm extremely disappointed that no work has been done on this bill over the past 10 days is an understatement, and I appreciate Ms. King's list, but can you explain what your statutory commitment is to address these concerns in this legislative body? Because we are literally looking at the same bill that was presented. And I'm assuming I'm not the only legislator in this building that expressed concerns about the lack of commitment in statute to some of these community benefits. And to say that I'm disappointed that I had a list of like 6 or 10 things that was read to me today that's not included in this new language is a lot. So if you can kind of address some of that lack of incorporation of the feedback that you heard from this legislature.
Senator Nguyen, Steve Hill. The commitment that you've heard today is real. We did mention at our last hearing that we felt like the specifics of that agreement put in legislation would be potentially problematic. It may cause programs to be locked in when the community changes, the needs change. Obviously, the legislation and what is in it is the decision of this body and not ours. So we're
Senator Neal.
Thank you, Madam Chair.